All right, welcome back to the Reverse Selling Podcast. I've got my guy, Jared Wright from the Share Group with us this morning. Jared, welcome back, my friend.
What's up? How are you?
Doing great.
Yeah. Rolling into Thanksgiving, man. We're moving right along in 2021.
It's insane that, a week from Thursday, it's Thanksgiving already. It's crazy.
It's a trip, man. I the older we get, the faster the times go, I think, but that's so cliche.
Well, but it's true. I mean, I totally agree. But listen, it was really cool, dude, to spend some time with you and your team here in Michigan at the summit. So just want to tell you guys again, thanks for coming and supporting that event.
It was awesome. And to see, in real life, the students that have made the changes and, just tripled or quadrupled, or even the term I don't even know how to use, their business was, like I said, exhilarating and motivating for us. So dude, it's exciting to be a part of it. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, all right, let's talk more about some lead generation stuff, which the people
Downsizers was a big hit, man. I mean, we had a lot of activity for that. So, any questions, make sure you guys are hitting that link below.
Absolutely. And, as Jared and I keep making these episodes every other week, we will start to talk more about like how to work these pillars, but we're trying to get you guys first the leads so that you guys have these to start working. And then we'll start getting to some more tactical things. So today, I think, you were sending me some ideas and I love it, but something we don't talk that much about, which I think is another great listening opportunity for agents that you guys have been really, really succeeding in, which is the distressed seller, which I want to talk about in today's episode.
Awesome. Yeah. It's something that we had originally when we first started, dabbling into the real estate data. It was a pillar of data that we kind of stood by, even though it's, kind of a negative term. It is also an ideal prospect for real estate if it's approached correct. Do you want to kind of pull back the curtain on, go through the elements of what we use to identify a distressed household? Is that kind of how you want to go about this?
Yeah, we can do that in just a second. I want to start maybe a little bit higher level and we'll kind of work our way down. So first and foremost, I think what you said is exactly right. What we're looking at, although maybe a tougher situation potentially for the homeowner, a great opportunity for a real estate agent to provide a ton of value for somebody going through maybe a painful time in their life. I mean, I would make the argument that this is a great opportunity for a real estate agent to go and help somebody maybe at the highest level, more so than any other seller, because this seller's in real pain, needs real help. And someone who's a real expert can go there and serve this person at the highest level. So first and foremost,
so true.
I want you to explain, before we get into like the data analytic part of it, when we say distressed seller, what are we referring to?
Yeah, so there's two different, to me, just to kind of step back a little bit, there's two different types of distressed homeowners. There's the distressed property that might be vacant or might have a lien on it. But then there's the distressed homeowner that, based off of some demographic information that we get and some transactional information we get, we know that they're quote unquote distressed. So that's to answer your question, I mean, there's two different types of distress for us. We really focus on the distressed homeowner. And so a lot of the demographics we have, that's how we identify that.
Love it. And that's such a great distinction and point. Yeah. There's the property that's distressed, and then there's the human that's distressed. We're talking about the human in today's episode.
Yeah, and to make a point on that, price of home will dictate that more, but in some cases, the distressed property and the distressed homeowner are hand in hand. Because if they're a lower level, a house, in some cases, they tend to maybe go hand in hand. They're distressed financially because they can't update the kitchen or get the bathroom fixed because they're in credit card debt, or they don't have any expendable income to fix the house, if that makes sense. In some cases, based off of price of home, you get to these $200,000, $250,000, $300,000 homes. And with the pandemic, how it has been, there's some distressed, homeowners in that spot as well. That is, their property is not necessarily distressed.
Yeah, makes a ton of sense. So why don't we start to kind of break that down? And when you guys at the share group talk about distressed homeowner, walk us through what data points we're looking at in order to determine these lead sources.
Yeah. So upside down on their mortgage is one of them. So, last time we talked on the downsizers is having, a lot of value to loan, less loan to value. Well, now we know that these individuals are upside down on their mortgage. The same type of transactional information we're getting. We can tell that they have now, they don't have any equity in some cases. And maybe that's not the best opportunity for an agent, but if they can sell their house for a value more than what's going for nowadays, I think it's still a valuable information for us to kind of use as a household being distressed.
So let's talk about that first and foremost. So to your point, this is the opposite of what we talked in the last episode, where somebody has a great equity position in their property. This is the exact opposite. They have no equity in their property. Right. They actually owe more than what the home is actually worth, right? So
in some cases, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I'm I'm shocked that there's still that. Is there a lot of those still right now?
So we have a really tight distress, and then we kind of have like a secondary distress. But in our tight distress upside down the mortgage, dude, there's still some homeowners out there that are in that pocket or in that pool. The most valuable select that we're using these days, and because of the pandemic, and it's a model that we use, but it's finding a change in income. So we're able to tell if the income has changed in the last 12 months.
That's huge. So now, for the worst, right? So this is somebody who's lost their job that potentially would have to sell their home. So so that is that the second data point?
It's the second data point, exactly, is the change of income.
Interesting. So how, if I'm a viewer and I'm watching this or I'm listening to this on, Apple or Stitcher podcast, wherever you guys are listening to this, I'm asking myself, how in the world are you getting that data? Like, how is that possible?
Yeah. So income is, people think income is like a self-reported or an actual selection. It is a modeled criteria based off of transactional information. So occupation, we get how much their house, how much they live in, a lot of different variables, number of trade lines, and we come in and then model the income. So the income's not an actual reported value. It's a model based off of a ton of different data elements that we kind of build. And that's kind of like, everyone always assumes income's like this perfect element to use, but in all cases, you can't rely on self-reported. No one's going to say they make what they say they make. So it is a model off of transactional information that we use, and we're really good at bucketing it in like 25,000 increments. You know what I'm saying? So
that's phenomenal.
100 to 25K.
I mean, that's
and so based off of that model and some of that behavior, we can see if their income has changed in the last 12 months.
I mean, that is so cool to have you try to talk through that with the audience, pull back the curtain to say, listen, this isn't Bob and Sue saying, hey, we lost our job. Now our new income went from 100,000 to 50,000. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about, totally. I mean, really, you're a data analytics company that's doing a deep dive on certain triggers. I mean, this is what, in my opinion, Jared, the value in partnering with a company like yours, if I'm a real estate agent, like, listen, man, we can get some really granular information on homeowners that determine their likelihood to sell. There are companies out there that have like the predictive analytics. Really what you're doing is pulling back the curtain and saying, this is how it's happening. Is that right?
It's how exactly. Kind of being a little bit more transparent. I mean, that's kind of what we hang our hat on to our, exactly showing you, exactly what's available and being as true as we can.
Well, here's something to consider. And you and I have never talked about this, that some other companies do, which would be an interesting project for your team. If I was you, I might think about doing this, is saying, okay, let's go into some markets and let's predict who the sellers would be. And then go back a year later and say, how many of those people did we predict actually sold? I mean, what a great value to show a real estate agent to say, listen, in the last 3 years in this area, we've predicted 74% of the home sellers.
I know, right? That would be really cool to be able to put together. Gosh, that's a great idea.
So,
What I was trying to come up with, and we were talking about some strategy with our clients. So, some of these clients that get, 30, 40, 50 transactions a month, if we could get that data back, think about this, and then we profile it and match it, and then try to replicate what they look like.
oh,
A little
phenomenal.
bit more predictable based off of their closed, transactions. And so we want to try to build this profile product for realtors as they build their business through the years too.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. All right. So we talked
right,
about, yeah,
change of income. Yep.
So we've got change of income.
The next one. Yeah,
absolutely. Knock out the next one. Yep.
Yeah, additional lines of credit. So we're able to tell if they've opened up new credit cards or if they've gotten a high interest, like Kohl's credit card, for example. I always say Sears card, but I'm getting old now. I don't think there's Sears anymore. Right. But like those furniture stores, or they're pulling in more credit. We're able to get that transactional information that they've added additional lines of credit. Got it. And then that goes in line with we use like an income to debt ratio, you know what I'm saying? So what their income is and how much line of credit, we can kind of gauge that, hey, they're kind of distressed household based off of their income coming in and their spending going out.
Which, might even also, I know we talk a lot about lead sources for real estate agents, but what a great opportunity for a mortgage loan officer, right? For a refinance. Yes. If I'm a mortgage loan officer, these are perfect. These trade lines that are getting open, DTI is getting a little out of whack. Maybe a great time for a cash out refinance to pay off some debt, do some debt consolidation, lower their debt to income ratio, all of that.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand, and your mortgage background is as sweet as it gets. So you totally understand both sides of the table there.
Yeah, exactly right. All right, cool. So yeah. Are there more?
Yeah, there's a couple of more, two more real quick. Late on their payments. So we're able to identify if it's a late payment indicator. It's a flag that we get from the bureau that household has a late payment indicator. And it's usually a credit card late payment, not like their mortgage. Whole another monster. Did I lose you?
You're cutting in and out a little bit.
My bad. Your eyes look closed. But I was talking about late payment indicator. We're able to tell based off of credit card lates, not necessarily mortgage lates, which that would be a whole nother conversation later.
Yeah, makes sense. And again, all of this is going into the algorithm to come up with a list of homeowners who we think is most likely to potentially make a move. Is that right?
That is correct. Yep, absolutely. And the pandemic has affected hundreds of thousands of households, with their occupation, with their job, and a lot of different things. So we're able to use credit score as well. So if the credit score has changed, that goes hand in hand with the late payment and some of the higher trade lines of credit cards. And so credit scores become a variable that we use, and it doesn't relay with a firm offer of credit. We model it at the ZIP +4 level. So that allows us to output it without a firm offer of credit. And it's really good for like neighborhood targeting and some other ideas to come up with. And I think at the end of the day, Brandon, I mean, for us, is these distressed segments are very customizable for the audience. My sales team will hate that I say this, but we really want the best leads and the best market for the agents. And so, these are conversations we're having every day with realtors about, what is the price of home that you're looking for? What is your niche, your specialty? And then let's add some of these selections to that to really niche down to have some success. And you know what? They're having success. So it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I think, again, I always like to remind the audience of what we're doing. When we talk about niching down, again, I like to give this analogy because I'm still getting questions every day, Jared, both inside of with my coaching clients and just like on YouTube and on Instagram. Like, okay, I got these leads, how do I approach them? I think the mindset is still that, because again, real estate agents aren't used to like niching down. When you tell them, hey, go door knock or go cold call or go circle prospecting, they get that. But then when you start talking about like being a smart marketer and niching down, somehow common sense kind of goes out the window. But like, like we're not talking about getting a list of distressed sellers and calling them and saying, Jared, I see, yeah, you're having a tough time making your payments,
Right.
We're not
Yeah.
talking about that. That's not what we're doing. Right.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so what we're
Jared,
doing
I heard you
here,
didn't pay your Kohl's card yesterday. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I see you just decided to not pay your bills anymore. So I thought that I might give you a call today. That's not what we're talking about.
I'm hanging up. Yeah. Yeah.
What we're talking about is this. We're saying there are tens of thousands of homeowners in every city across the country. What we're talking about, you and I, what this podcast segment is about is how to identify the homeowner that has the highest likelihood to sell with the lowest amount of competition. That is what we're talking about.
That's exactly what we're talking about. So if you're circle prospecting or you're door knocking and you take that same approach for that niche down segmented list, you're going to have some success. I mean, don't let the type of list be a roadblock, right?
Yeah.
Just go get it, man. Get it done.
well, and quite frankly, yeah. Furthermore, I would add is to the position I take and the advice that I give is to not just go super wide. Don't go just random. Right. Go super niche. Go super narrow. If you're going to door knock a neighborhood, if you're going to call a neighborhood, let's just take the number of, let's just say it's 1,000 homes, right? In this neighborhood that I want to sell real estate in. There's two ways to approach it. And I know you know this, but I want to share this with the audience. It might be a great thing to end on. There's 1,000 people in this home, in this neighborhood. One way is what 90% of the industry does and says, well, I'll just go after all the squirrels. All right. Or what if Jared and I told you that out of that 1,000 homes, we could identify the 300 that are most likely to sell their house in the next 12 to 24 months? Would that be information that you might find useful? The answer is absolutely.
Well, heck yeah. Yeah. That's wow. I mean, that's valuable information, man. And it makes perfect sense. I mean,
yeah.
Where so you now start.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, your company, and I just thought of this now that you guys might want to add to your value prop, but like you save agents time and money. And how you do that is by, instead of sending 1,000 mailers to 1,000 homes, now you're only sending 300 mailers to 300 homes because we've identified the best opportunities for you. Instead of spending time door knocking 1,000 people, calling 1,000 people, you're just focused on the 300 as an example. Would you agree?
Right. Would totally agree with the same messaging, like you said, that you would do if it was a circle prospecting segment, right?
Yeah.
So go after it the same way, right? The same approach. But yeah, this is good stuff, man. I love it.
I love it. So if you guys have questions, obviously reach out to Jared's team. Like always, we'll put a link in the description right beneath this video on YouTube. You guys can always just go and as far as the website right now, it's just the share.group, correct?
Yep, the share.group. We have a live chat function that's been really popular as of late that a lot of realtors can jump on, that we're answering questions left and right. The phone number's on there. We're ready to handle any questions. So yeah, it's all there on the website.
Yeah. So you guys niche down to blow up your business, and we'll see you guys in another episode here very soon. Jared, like always, I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, man. Have a great day, dude. Take care, buddy.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
See you, baby.